Marcus in the back. You still good? All right. Questions for Coach Doege? We'll start with Michael.
I asked Brent this question as well, but you've got two quarterbacks in this game who looks like they're going to have to spend their entire careers with the same school, which almost never happens anymore these days. What is the value to your program, to any program, to have that sort of stability at the quarterback position?
I mean, it's huge, especially if they're, obviously if they're extremely talented, like Jennings is and like Fafita is. I mean, I think you can hear Noah talk about it all the time, like it's going to be so awesome to be in a system in year two. He's never been in a system. He's been like Fish, obviously that system for a little bit, but he was so young. But he's just so excited that there's going to be some stability in his life when it comes to football, and I think that's huge for any quarterback, regardless, of the year that in the program. If you can have your quarterback coming back, that's big time. Obviously for SMU and for us, these guys are talented. So those guys are high dollar prospects in the portal, and obviously if they're in the portal, you're fighting everybody in the country that needs a quarterback for them. Well, I think SMU and as well as us, we're lucky because we have guys already in that want to be here. They're not chasing more money. They value stability. They value their teammates. They value the coaching. They value the scheme, and they value the university, and they value the town that they're in. I think that's huge. I think that goes a long ways. And I think in today's age and what college football is now, that's rare. Because you see all these big-time guys getting in the portal, and who knows why, right? Like, you can't judge everybody's situation. I just know our guy loves it here. He loves the University of Arizona, and he loves playing for Brent Brennan, and he loves his teammates. And I'm excited to coach him, obviously. I got one of the better ones in the country, so I'm excited that he's going to be back.
Justin and Troy.
What do you make of SMU's defense, and is there an opponent you guys have faced that resembles them?
Shoot, man, we've played some decent, some good players, or good teams, good defense, good players. They're big up front. I don't know if we've faced anybody as big as they are. They're pretty massive, and then their safeties are very active. And so it's kind of a combination. I thought Cincinnati was big up front. And they gave people problems. I thought Baylor was big up front. They gave people problems. They do have a couple guys in the secondary that maybe we haven't faced yet, like a safety that type of caliber of a player. So it's going to be a unique challenge. If you look at the stats, I think stats can be skewed sometimes. In their case, if you look at them, they don't give up a whole lot of rushing yards, but they give up a bunch of pass yards. But the problem is, if you watch their games, they're up big in a lot of games, right? And so everybody's just throwing the ball, trying to get back in the game. Well, of course, your passing yards are going to go up. Everybody's just chunking it, trying to get back into the game. So I think that's a little bit skewed. I think they're a really good defense. They do a lot of good things really, really well, and then they're really good on the red zone, which has obviously been a place of struggle for us, or a little bit of inconsistency for us. So we got to be dialed when we get down there to score points, because they're really good at defending you when you get in the score zone. So they're going to be a challenge, and I know our guys are ready. Our guys, I'll tell you this, man. If you look at some of the data from our catapult numbers, our guys have practiced harder than they've practiced the last couple of weeks of the season, and then you kind of consider this a bye week. When it comes to player load and miles per hour, and when they're really running and how hard they're working, the data proves that these guys are excited to play. And so that's exciting for us.
Troy and then Jason Barr.
Coach Brennan announced that Coach Moival would be taking over as running back coach. I'm sure you're part of that process, being the offense coordinator. Just your thoughts on that, and what have you seen out of him this year as he's been with Coach Carter?
Yeah, I think he's a tremendous teacher. The times that I've gotten a chance to walk into the room when he had the running backs, Zoe was letting him have opportunity to teach. I was just really impressed. His communication skills. He's a former quarterback, so he kind of knows the big picture. And I think that's a value of any position. I think sometimes quarterback guys that play the position quarterback, they get labeled as that quarterback guys. And he's done such a good job of relating to those running backs, and they trust him. Why do they trust him? Because he knows what he's talking about, and he can get them better. And I think that's key to like kids nowadays. Like sometimes status and names, I don't think always resonates anymore. I think when you get in a room, can you make them better? And how can you make them better? Well, your communication has to be clear. You got to be direct in what you know and what you believe in, and then you got to be aligned with the entire organization. And that's Lyle. I mean, this guy's 100%, behind us, and 100% bought into what Coach Brendan's about, and 100% bought into what I'm about. This dude's had my back since the day I showed up. So I'm really excited about it. I know the running backs are pumped. I know the team is pumped, but he's one of the guys around the building that everybody knew what type of caliber coach he was. He just needed an opportunity. He finally got his opportunity, and he's going to be really good for us. I'm really excited about the hire.
Jason Barr and then Jason Shearer.
Did Noah and Chris Hudson find a chemistry midway through the season? What kind of clicked between the two of them?
If you go back to fall camp, it was there. Fall camp, they were in rhythm. I think Chris had an injury in fall camp that kind of limited him, and so he was never really healthy to start the season. And so, that's one of those things that, yeah, he was playing, but he wasn't 100%. He wasn't his normal self. And so for them to get back in the rhythm that they had in fall camp, because in fall camp he was the GoDaddy, and everybody knew it. I think if you ask Danny, Danny's going to tell you like 4 was the guy. And so I thought he really, really progressed well through camp, and then he had a little step back, and then he had to get healthy, and then finally got healthy to where he felt confident, and they got back in a rhythm. And I know Noah trusts him completely, and obviously he's playing at a level that we expect him to play early. It just so happened circumstances didn't allow that, and now I'm proud of the way he fought through. This dude, if you were to ask a lot of people about Chris Hudson in the portal, you probably would have got some bad feedback. And he's been nothing but a great teammate. And the one thing that people don't understand about Chris is when I'm talking about the data and the player load and the catapult and all those numbers, by far, Chris Hudson is our hardest practice player. He prepares on the practice field as hard as anybody I've been around. He loves football, and he's done a great job of just buying into our culture and our red line standard. And I think that's why he's playing at a different level. Is he's truly progressed his his play style and what he believes in, and he believes in Noah too. Those guys, all those receivers believe in that guy, and like you said, I think they've just caught a little bit of a chemistry that they kind of developed early. It just wasn't clicking early just because he wasn't 100% healthy.
Jason Shearer and then Michael.
Earlier in the season, you mentioned multiple times how Noah just needed to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a moment this season where you felt that kind of clicked for him?
I just felt like those early games, I felt like he was there was times, and it wasn't, I don't think there was one game where I'm like, man, he did not see the field very, very clean, or, he just didn't play very well. I think he had moments early that I felt like he was just trying to do too much. I felt like the BYU game, he played well enough for us to win. And I think that, if I'm a quarterback, he's one of the better teams in our league, and I played well enough to win. And then you back it up with the Houston game where he's I can't remember, 24 or 26, something like that, right? And he just continues to progress through that. Another thing is our receivers got healthy. That's one thing you don't talk about early in the season, like, oh, what's the issues? Some of our guys are hurt, but you don't want to say that. Those guys get healthy. Noah's trust and confidence, rises up, and he starts executing at a really high level because obviously he's got guys around him that can help him. And so it wasn't a specific game. I just thought he kept getting better and better and better, just the way he prepares. We've talked about that over and over. This guy's different. He's different, man, and the way he prepares, the way he goes about his business. He's in that building as much as I am, and I'm in there a lot. And so you just don't find them like that. The guys that love the game like he loves the game, the guys that love his teammates like he loves his teammates, the guys that prepare each and every day like it's the freaking Super Bowl going out to practice. I mean, this guy's lights out when it comes to practice preparation. So, I think we just got to do a great job of making sure those guys around him are playing at a high level and making sure I'm calling it at a high level so we can put him in a position to have success because he deserves it and he's going to be ready to do it. So I'm just proud of the way he's progressed through the season. I think he's playing at an elite level right now, and I trust him completely.
Michael and then Troy.
Who are some young offensive players who have benefited from bowl practices?
Oh, man. I heard you talk about Lotto. Lotto's getting a ton of reps. Obviously, late in the season, we had some O-line guys banged up. They weren't, it's one of those things where you got to manage guys in the season, especially our tackles with Tristan and Ty. And so Lotto really, he really progressed through the season because there was days where he's taking every single rep. And to do that, you got to be really tough. And so that dude, you can just see his confidence kind of going through the roof right now just because I think there's one thing to practice and then to get out there and have some success against real people, and he's not a finished product by any means. We got a lot to work to do with Lotto, but he's proven that he can be a Big 12 tackle. And I'm excited to see the progress that he's made and continue to make. And then you got your young receivers, Gio, who really came on late in the season. He might be playing, just as good as anybody on our roster late in the season from a skill level position. Just because he's smart, he's tough. Again, he's coming off an injury. He doesn't get to go through spring ball. Fall camp is kind of like up and down. And then, start the season, he kind of starts off like he's going to get in the mix, starts progressing, then he kind of hit that freshman wall. And next thing you know, he's in critical situations for us, making big-time plays. And so he's been a guy that I've been really pleased with. I'm excited about his future. I think he's going to be a big-time player for us. And then Mizell's progressing well. I think it's easy for a guy like him. I think as a highly recruited receiver, you come in here thinking your skill set is definitely good enough to play, and you expect to play. When you don't play, I think it could really easily you could get frustrated. And then there's a thing called, like you said, there's a thing called a portal you can just easily jump into. And Mizell's not running from it. Mizell knows the processing is a development, and he knows he's getting better, and he knows his time's coming. So I think those two young receivers have been awesome. I'm really excited about those guys. I think Sawyer Anderson, when he gets in, we've had a couple scrimmages. He's done really well. For a guy that especially that runs the scout team, you don't get to run your scheme most of the year, and for him to kind of just go out there and for me to call it and him to ball it, I mean, it's been impressive to watch him. And then our two running backs, Korn and Wesley, always do a great job. When we service the defense, obviously the offensive coaches get to coach, and to watch how hard Korn and Wesley run is exciting. So I think we got some really good young skills, and I'm excited kind of about the class that we put together. I think we're going to have a lot of talented young kids that some are going to have to step up a lot sooner than they expect, which I think they want. I don't know if they know what it takes yet for that, but they're going to get a taste pretty soon, and so I'm excited about where we're at.
Troy and then Justin.
Kind of going off that, I was going to ask you about Sawyer Anderson. What have you seen out of him this month? Like you said, extra bowl prep, extra practice, just being able to run an offense compared to at the start of the year till now. Yeah,
what Sawyer's done a great job of is he's in Braden Locke's hip pocket. And Braden Locke is you might as well call him the assistant quarterback coach, because he's the older guy in the room. He's smart. He knows every single check. He'll come to me and he'll have 3 or 4 different plays that he wants to run because he's watching just as much as tape as anybody else. But that's really benefited Sawyer and his development is because he's been, like I said, he's been in Braden's hip pocket. And so he's, even those guys that they run the scout team, they sit in our meetings. And what's really helped him and Luke and Mason is they've had to hear the dialogue between me, Noah, and Braden. And Noah and Braden are, in my opinion, elite processors, and they could take a lot of information. So, we've done more checks than I've ever done in my entire career with those guys. We're checking different runs, we're checking different protections, we're checking different concepts off of a hard count. But that's not me. It's kind of going into the game knowing, like, okay, if I get this look, I'm getting to this. If I get this look, I'm getting to that. And for a young guy, I think your head could spin because you're like, man, what happened to, like, the day one install, or the day two install? Where'd that go? Well, that's by far gone. And because of that, I think they've accelerated their learning curve a little bit. And so I'm really excited to kind of see him go through the spring and where he's at. You know, obviously he's not at the level at Noah and Braden yet, but he does have the capability to obtain that information. He just got to they just need reps. Sawyer and Luke, they just need reps. They need real reps. And when they do, I think they're going to be, both of them are going to be good players.
Justin and then Jason Barr.
What are some of your favorite memories of bowl week as a player? What do you think of, you know, I guess, teams opting out of bowl week, and what do they miss from that experience?
You know, obviously, you know, I'm always a look in the mirror guy, so I try not to judge too many other things, but it's just hard for me to think about not playing, you know, like as a team, player, whatever. And I know everybody's got different circumstances, and so, and always, you got to give grace to all that, and you got to understand all that. But for me, like, this is why you do it. You know, obviously, like, everybody's trying to chase a championship, you know, a Big 12 championship, a national championship, but there's also, like, the postseason bowls. Like, this is why you do it. Like, this is why you do all the hard work in the summer. This is why you do all the team bonding. This is why you do, this is why you stay the course when you take a tough loss in the middle of the season. Like, this is the reward, right? This is the reward, and this is, like, to me, this is the fun part. I remember, as you know, going back to you asking the question, like, what do you remember as a player? I remember having fun. And because it was the last time, you know, I remember my senior year was the last time that you were going to get to play with the guys that you did all this with. You went through all this adversity. You had to respond through all this adversity with. You had to grow through all the adversity with, all the hard times, all the good times. This was the last couple of weeks that you got to, like, truly play football with your best friends. And so I think that's rewarding for bowl prep. And for us in this team, like, I mean, we go back to what we were picked 16th in the league, and nobody in the world thought we were going to win 9 games, and now we're here in the Holiday Bowl. Like, we should enjoy this, and that's what our guys have. And we have a good team. We have a unique team to where they really enjoy being around each other. Our coaches enjoy being, like Coach talks about all the time. Like, there's true alignment within our staff, but there's also a true alignment within our team. All right, that trickled down. So our guys really enjoy being around each other. So for me, this go round for this bowl game, I'm just excited to be around this team because this team is unique, it's special in its own way, and you know, going forward, every team is different. You know, this team, next year's team is not going to be the same as this team. You could have the same, very similar players. It's not going to be the same team. Okay, so this team, the way the chemistry is, the way that the guys rock with each other, the staff. I mean, it's just fun to be around everybody when we're on the practice field, and so. That's what I enjoy, and I'm excited to watch these guys go attack this 10th win because they deserve it. And you know, obviously, we got to do a great job as coaches, giving them a chance to have success and getting them ready to play. But these guys deserve to win 10, and I know they're hungry to win 10, and I'm excited to go to war with them one more time.
We'll finish with Jason Barr. And
Yeah.
My question's pretty much answered.
Okay.
all right, we'll go Jordan and Michael finish up then.
What has Reese Nell brought to this backfield for you?
Say it again. Sorry.
What has Reese Nell brought to this backfield for you?
Oh yeah. Well, he's, you know, I think, you know, he's battling. He had to battle injuries early in the season too. I think if you remember the Hawaii game, that dude had, you know, he really took off. He played well. But what it's funny that you asked. We had a conversation, me and Ked, the other day in my office, and what I told him is, one, I'm proud of him, because if there's like a handful of guys that bought in to what we preach on offense, Ked is one of them. I mean, he is a value just from a culture standpoint because he believes in everything that we're doing, and because of that, he's taken a leadership role with his voice, his actions, and the way he attacks every single day. So I'm super proud of him on that standpoint. And then I think what he's brought to, and one thing that I want him to continue to own is the physicality that he runs with, because he is a bigger back. You know, I remember the the short yardage BYU run that he ran through like 2 people, and really created some momentum for us in that game. I mean, that's the type of back that he is. I mean, he's a guy that's just, it can't be one guy take him down, you know, and he's more than that. I know he's more than that. You know, obviously the Cincinnati game where, you know, broke that long one, he's got ability to be explosive and create explosive runs. But to me, when Ked has the ball, people should feel it. Anytime you're trying to tackle him, you should feel it. And that's huge for us because those, you know, say what you want, like Dalton, Stukes, and Genesis would be pissed if I said this, but those guys, they don't want to hit that every time. You know what I mean? And so, you know, if we can have a bigger back in that room that has some physicality that punishes you every time you try to tackle him, that's what I want. And I think that's what he brings, and I'm excited about. I'm excited about his future. You know, like I said, he's now getting healthy too. Just like the whole season, you know, our guys just battle through nicks and bruises and injuries and all sorts of stuff, man, like that nobody ever knows, right? Because you don't want to put that on record. You know, you don't want to give your opponent any advantage. I mean, our guys are tough, man. Like that's one thing that I wish. It's almost like you wish you could put it on record. You wish you could like show you the adversity that some of these kids have battled through this year just to stay on the field. And Ked's one of those guys, man. Like I'm so proud of him and the way he's battled. And like I said, he is in total alignment with, you know, what we're building here. And like I said, I just want him to own that physicality part because that's who he is, man. He's going to run through you.
We'll finish up with Michael.
I know Coach Brennan said that some personnel stuff is sort of still to be determined for the bowl game and I guess for next year as well. But based on graduation, what you know, what you think might happen, what are some positions of need, do you think, on offense as the portal season?
Right. Well, I think first thing that comes to mind is tight ends. Like, we're going to need some tight ends. That's going to be a big deal for us. I think Cam Barmore has come like a long way, and I wish I had him back. If we had him back, I really think we have an all Big 12 tight end on our hands, but unfortunately we don't. So we got to go replace him and Sam. We got TP coming off injury, but we still need, you know, we got some young guys coming in. We got Henry coming in, Kellen redshirting, but we do need a couple like game experience tight ends because that specific position is so physical, and those guys take a beating. So you need more than, you know, honestly, you need like 3 guys that can really do it. You know, obviously we're gonna lose some guys up front. You know, KD and Ty. So you're gonna have to replace some guys up front. I'd like to do that with game experience as well. It doesn't have to be an older guy; it can be a younger guy. I just want him to be able to, you know, I want to be able to turn on the tape and say, "This guy's played college football before." I think there's some value to that. And then we'll have some spots in the receiver room that we need to go fill, that guys that can come compete and push the room. So we'll see where that goes too. And so I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to finish the year with the guys that we have because they deserve it. They deserve it the right. We got to finish the right way. But we do have a plan in place to fill the roster depending on like the way things shake. You know, obviously you're hoping for the best. You think you have an idea where guys are leaning. And I don't think we'll have any crazy surprises. You know, my gut says that, my intuition says that, and my conversations. But you never know. You know, these portal nowadays, it's kind of crazy. So things could change daily.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, I guess. Appreciate it.